What's up, YouTube? So in this video, I'm going to be giving my game day report for the Dolphins and Browns. Um, so let's get right into it. Teron Armstead does kind of scare me on whether or not he's going to play. Um, Normally it doesn't really bother me because he's been dealing with this toe injury all game. I mean all season. And for the most part, he's been able to play through it. But we did bring up Keon Smith to be extra depth at tackle. So that it does kind of scare me that we had to make that move. So that does scare me a little bit. Austin Jackson being up to being questionable, considering he had limited participation Thursday and Friday, I wouldn't be surprised if he actually ends up playing. However, I don't know if I really want him to start at right tackle. Brandon Shell has been doing fairly decently. Honestly, Robert Jones did okay, but I would rather him just go back to left guard, where he was playing last year. I thought he played better at guard than tackle anyway, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, Hunter Long is out. Who cares? Tanner Connor. I mean, he can sit out. I don't really care. If we have Gesicki and Smythe, I think we're fine. Yeah, Teddy, he may as well sit out too. We can just have Skylar Thompson be our backup. We're probably better off with that anyway. So yeah, let's kind of take a look. Yeah, they got Keon Smith kind of behind on all of them, but like I said, that does scare me a little bit that they did have to bring him up. They also did bring up Verone McKinley to the active roster as well, which I am in favor of. I think he definitely does make our team a little bit better right now, especially with us being down Brandon Jones, of course. It just gives us some more options because I do think Eric Rowe should get the start. But I think this position here you can kind of rotate in Clayton and Verone McKinley at that strong safety position. Even Justin Bethel a little bit. So let's go ahead and that's pretty much all I really need to talk about as far as the Dolphins go as far as injuries. So let's kind of get into the Browns now. I mentioned when I was giving my thoughts on the Browns that David Njoku and JOK aren't going to be playing. That's still the case, so that's a thing. Joel Bitonio, if he had full participation Friday and Thursday, I imagine he'll play. Same with David. Oh yeah, this is just, it's not injury related. It's just vet rest. I think it's stupid. They put people that are just on vet rest on here. But whatever. Jack Conklin, if he had full participation Friday, he'll go. Same goes with Amari Cooper. Yeah, just vet rest. Vet rest. Amari Cooper is he's very good at playing through injuries, so I know he'll go. Martin Emerson will probably go if he had full participation Thursday and Friday. Greg Newsome's interesting. I assume with full participation Friday, I kind of imagine he'll play, but who knows? Wyatt Teller, limited participation. Okay. I don't know. I think that's more likely to be a no. Denzel Ward will go. If he had full participation Thursday and Friday, I imagine he'll play. Even he did have a concussion, apparently. I didn't realize that. I assume he'll probably play. And then same thing with Perrion Winfrey. Michael Dunn, I'm not sure. So let's kind of get into their depth chart a little bit. Doesn't even list some of these guys as hurt. And I did kind of give my thoughts on the Browns as well. As far as their offense goes, obviously their run game is crazy. Nick Chubb is easily a top 5 running back in this league, debatably number 1. Kareem Hunt is a really, really solid number 2. Ernest Johnson, Jerome Ford, they got a lot of guys that can run the football effectively. Jacoby Brissett isn't very crazy. He does have a little bit of athleticism and can run on you, which running quarterbacks have given us problems, but this isn't like a Justin Fields or Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen situation as far as his mobility goes, but he can scramble a little bit. And he does have a pretty decent arm, but the big threat is them running the football. Now, they, of course, do have some threats downfield. Amari Cooper is still a really, really top-end receiver in the NFL. Donovan Peoples-Jones is a solid number 2. After that, it really kind of falls off as far as their production in the receiving game. David Njoku is a guy that gets a lot of catches, but he's not going to be playing. I do think that Harrison Bryant is still a pretty good player, though. So I think they still can get some production out of him. Pretty decent offensive line. They are a little bit beat up. Well, a lot of their starting offensive line was at least on this report. Like I said, I think Conklin will definitely go. Joel Bitonio for sure will go. Wyatt Teller, I'm not as sure with him. But even if they play but they're not 100%, that's still going to help us a little bit. Because they do have a really solid offensive line. They really do. Especially when it comes to the run game. And their defense, they definitely, of course, have some solid players. Myles Garrett is one of the better defensive linemen in the game. Very good pass rusher and can really disrupt things in the run. But I think he is a guy that you can kind of scheme against in the run game, and I think you actually can run at him decently. I definitely think that that's possible. And the Browns are a team that actually does give up a decent amount of yards in the run. So I definitely want to make that a big focus. I mentioned before that I would like them to get 30 carries between Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert combined. I don't want either one to, bear all of that. I just kind of want to make sure that between the two of them, we get around 25 to 30 carries. I think if we do that, I think we'll have some pretty good success. And I do think we can throw against them as well. They do have some really good DBs. Denzel Ward, even if Greg Newsome doesn't play, Greedy Williams and Martin Emerson are both very good. Thomas Graham is a good young corner. AJ Green's decent. Grant Delpit is a good, strong safety, even though I think he'd be a better free. But I think he is a very, very good player. They got some decent linebackers. Like I said, JOK isn't going to be able to play, but Deion Jones is a veteran in this league and is still a pretty solid player. And if their defense does do anything well, it actually is passing defense. I just really believe in Tua, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Trent Sherfield, Mike Gesicki, Cedric Wilson. Like I believe in our guys in the passing game. I think we'll still manage to find some success there. And Myles Garrett is a guy that can absolutely disrupt the game for you, but we get rid of the ball really quickly. I am concerned if Teron Armstead can't go. If we have to put Greg Little in at left tackle, that could be pretty rough. But we'll see. And if Teron Armstead can't go, I really do want Austin Jackson back so we can have Brendan Shell and Austin Jackson starting at our tackle spots. I do not want to have to put Greg Little in there against Myles Garrett. I really don't. Take a look at the Browns' recent transactions. Jerome Ford was on injured reserve, and they brought him up yesterday. That's interesting. I do like him a lot from Cincinnati. Okay, and they brought up a defensive tackle, too. Yeah. That's an interesting move. I imagine that they aren't bringing him up from the practice squad just to not put him into the game, so it's interesting that they would bring him up. That probably implies that Perion Winfrey isn't going to play then. It says unspecified, but I feel like if they brought up a defensive tackle, that probably means that he's not going to play. That's probably the case. So, anyway, I think that's going to do it for this video. If you'd like to, appreciate hitting that like button. Have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.